The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Quinn Hughes is the best player in hockey. And somehow Kevin Lankinen is as good as Thatcher Demko. Yo, it is time to buy a lottery ticket. How is this even possible? The Canucks beat the Kings. We're officially back. I know we're 11 games into the season, or 12, but we're officially back. Let's get into it on Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
People. Give yourself a round of applause, okay? The season officially started. The Canucks beat a good team. A playoff-like environment, okay? Just hear the noise. That is what I'm talking about. Hey, speaking of talking, I'm talking right now on Locked On Canucks. Yes, the show that gives you your Canucks every day. One love to the Locked On Podcast Network. Hey, one love to the Burnaby Gardens and the Don't Doze Art Collective. They've been looking after the West Coast Bias for days and days and days and years and years and years, and it's only because we care about our neighbors. Okay? Help your neighbors out. Change the world. Speaking of our neighbors, the Canucks about to fly home after sweeping California, okay? It's one thing to beat San Jose. They suck. It's one thing to beat the Ducks. They suck even more. I will say, though, San Jose having a pretty impressive start to the season. They're trying hard, okay? A bit too hard on Macklin Celebrini and his boys. All that being said, those two teams, bottom feeders, and we played the Kings, a team that's also playing hard, a team that has some talent, some pedigree, and man, oh man, we finally did it. We beat a good team. It feels good. And we did so with a lot of things thrown our way. Right? An early goal. I think a minute into the game. Maybe a minute and a half into the game. Okay? Quinton Byfield making Vincent Desharnais look like Vincent Desharnais. And yeah, he got better as the game goes on. But I'm telling you, and I've been saying this ever since I had his back in July when I said, I just hope he's better than Darnell Nurse. But I've been saying it since. There's a good chance that this dude is going to get waived. Yes, the dude that signed a 2-year deal worth $2 million. I'm not trying to be negative. I think it's a strategy. I think part of this project is going to be built in Abbotsford. But man, oh man, that's how the game started. And then what happened? Brock Boeser versus Tanner Jeannot. Tanner Jeannot, a piece of shit. That's a cheap play. That's also a play that happens a couple minutes after Niels Höglander sort of slewfoots. I guess you got to just say it. He slewfoots lightly on Zay Kopitar. Okay, you can't do that to the captain. Somewhat of a quote-unquote typical Niels Höglander play. Okay, that's the way he gets physical on the forecheck. Once in a while, he gets a little dirty. You watch Niels Höglander play back in Sweden too. Okay, the guy's got a little bit of a POS attitude too. Okay, and he took out Kopitar. A couple minutes later, Tanner Jeannot's like, you know what? If you're going after one of our stars, I'm going to do the same. And he knocks out Brock Boeser. Brock Boeser doesn't come back. Head injury. Is it a concussion? I don't know. But it's the NHL, okay? One of the craziest sports in the world. Almost deadly. Extremely vicious. And Tanner Jeannot is definitely getting suspended. We get a 5-minute power play. And Darcy Kemper helps this power play out and scores in his own net, okay? The Canucks power play sucks. It sucks. We needed an own goal to get on the board. It is what it is, though. Because here's the thing. Afterwards, the Canucks, for the most part, look like the way better team. Is that the truth? It is. And that's due in large part to a team effort, right? A lot of people doing their part. I don't even think JT Miller lost a face-off. I think he won 70 today. I think Atu Ratu won a couple as well. The boys are playing hard. I thought Sushi played probably his best game of the year. Filip Hronek was an absolute tank all game long. Such a strong performance game after game after game after game that he's been putting out there on the ice this season, okay? He only has 3 points, but I'm telling you, Filip Hronek, he is worth that money right now. Even Elias Pettersson, I'm sorry, throwing the body around, not doing much offensively, but hey, I saw a couple big hits from that guy. Everyone was engaged. But as we did before on this road trip, we got to do it again, and that's give Quinn Hughes Captain Quinn Hughes, King Quinn Hughes, all the flowers in the world. It's without a doubt. This dude is the second most talented Vancouver Canuck of all time, if not number one, right? Only next to Pavel Bure. He's already on the Mount Rushmore of the best players of all time who's ever played for the West Coast, the best coast of Canada, right? And man, he's the best player in hockey right now. And I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm telling you, Quinn Hughes, he learned something in the playoffs. He got mad in the playoffs. He did not like losing to the Oilers. And who's coming to town on Saturday, okay? Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and the Oilers. Well, we've seen Quinn Hughes game after game after game this season be just a stellar defenseman. Yeah, he's putting up the points, another goal and assist today, including the game winner, but he is so damn good defensively. Something changed. He learned a lot from Roman Josi. He was already good, but I'm telling you, this guy got way better. And I think there's like a 51% chance, which is saying a lot. It would be a good thing if there was a 49% chance, but there's a 51% chance that Quinn Hughes shuts down Connor McDavid this Saturday. And he's really going to put himself on the map. Yes, I know. The dude's already got a Norris. He's put himself on the map, right? But I'm telling you, there's still a lot of disrespect for that guy, or just not enough respect. The dude's a spectacle. And keep in mind, this happened too, okay? In the playoffs, Quinn Hughes, courtesy of Kiefer Sherwood, was not the same. Okay, so when everyone was finally staying up late on the East Coast, right, doing their jobs and not falling asleep at 10 o'clock to watch one of the best players in hockey, when they weren't doing that and they were actually watching games in the playoffs, they didn't see the best version of Quinn Hughes. Real talk. And they're going to see that on Saturday because everyone's going to watch the Canucks versus the Oilers, okay? The Vancouver Canucks, what's their record? 7-2-3. Do the math. How many games have they played? 12 games. 12 games, and they've lost 2 in regulation without Dakota Joshua. And, oh, yeah, Thatcher Demko. And last time I checked, Elias Pettersson has 5 points in 12 games. I'm going to do the math again. I think he's on pace for like 33 points. And that's rightfully so. That's like a well-deserved 35 points, okay? That's saying a lot, but that's Elias Pettersson. Apparently, he's the next Philip Deneau, okay? And it's crazy. I know I'm talking some ish. But I'll try to give credit where credit was due. I thought that was one of Elias Pettersson's better defensive games of all time. And he's a really good defensive forward, but he was doing stuff today. He was efficient, okay? Anyways, let's read some comments, get to some ads, and read more comments. Because it's all about you and 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 you. I didn't just watch the game. Y'all watched the game too. I just saw a comment from Ripped Puzzy, okay? I'm not going to read it, but that one made me laugh, okay? I'll get fired if I read that, okay? Man, oh man. Aaron Phillip, man, saying the Oilers game is going to be a big one. I know. A part of me just wants to appreciate this effort tonight. I'm looking ahead of the Oilers game, though. All that being said, really, really impressed with the guts of the Vancouver Canucks today. Real talk. That was playoff-like, and they held it down. Lankinen had to be sharp, don't get me wrong, but they did their thing defensively. Look at this comment from Infamous. One of my favorites, man. A big member of the Discord. Hey, shout out to the Game Day thread today, man. Entertaining stuff. People trolling each other, people chirping each other. At the end of the day, we're all Canucks. And we're here. Infamous is saying Lankinen is playing as good as I would have hoped Demko would be. He's top 5 in every stat, including second in goals against, for goalies that have played more than 5 games. How has this happened in Vancouver, okay? Keep in mind, all this has happened over the last, 5 months, okay? Demko plays really well in game 1 against Nashville. Gets hurt. Okay? Casey DeSmith comes into game 2. I believe he lets in, the first shot of the game. Whatever. Whatever, though. I know we lose game 2 against Nashville, but, we still had a chance to win that game. But then he plays game 3, and it's rock solid. Rock solid. Look at the film. He was super impressive in game 3. But what happened then? He gets hurt. And then Archer Shelovs has to steal the rest of the series. That's 3 goalies in a matter of a couple weeks that play meaningful playoff games and do their job, right? Because Shelovs, for the most part, was pretty good in Edmonton against Edmonton as well. And then you fast forward to the now, and we pick up Kevin Lankinen at a garage sale in late September. And he's the best goalie in hockey right now. Heck, he's the MVP of the league too, maybe. The numbers don't lie. They don't. 7-0-2. And top 5 in every single good goalie category, okay? The dude is something else. Speaking of which, Trevor Beggs is something else too. Shirtless and not reading bedtime stories to his children tonight because Quinn Hughes put on a show and the Canucks finally beat a good team. Hey, Beggsy, what do you think about Kevin Lankinen? What do you think about the Canucks beating the Kings? I already know what you got to say about Quinn Hughes, but how was that game?
Well, first and foremost, one love to Brock Boeser. I think to me
yeah.
that is the main story in this game. Unfortunately, is
talk about it.
The guy's been through so much, and that was one of the dirtiest hits I've seen in this season at least, right? And you don't see too many of those hits anymore, thankfully. But Tanner Jeannot, you absolute piece of shit, man.
Whoa,
sucking at hockey. You guys scored 24 goals, fluke season, and he comes out because he can't play anymore. Targeting star players, get the F out of here, Tanner.
Okay, but Trevor, I brought this up. Don't you think he did that because Höglander kind of, sort of, slew-footed Anze Kopitar? Like you definitely no. Those two things are connected, man. I'm telling you, they're connected, bro. That's the captain of the Kings, the legacy player, the best Kings player of all time.
I don't care, man. There's no excuse. There's
no excuse. I'm just saying that's why it happened. That's why it happened.
Gone. He only makes contact with the head. No excuse for that bullshit, man. No excuse for that at all. So I think a suspension is coming for him. And good riddance, Tanner Jeannot, man. Hope you enjoy the rest of your career in the AHL, buddy. In terms of the rest of this game, man, Quinn Hughes, dude, he's the Hart Trophy MVP for me right now. I mean, I said it on the last show, and there's nothing that could extinguish that idea tonight. I mean, what a pass to Jake DeBrusk for that goal there. His goal ends up standing up as the game winner, just dummying the Kings forward at the top of the blue line there. And I think JT Miller said it after the game. He wouldn't want to be a guy covering Quinn Hughes man-to-man because that guy is pretty much uncoverable. It's just like he's so good with the puck, so sublime. No one is covering Quinn Hughes. And again, man, oh man, it's just, this Canucks team with Quinn Hughes on it, like it doesn't matter if you're going to play with a bunch of fence posts. If you got Quinn Hughes on your team, you're going to do some damage.
Well, let's read this comment. I think I saw something similar from Mike early on. Okay, Quinn would be as sick as a Ford. Straight up. Okay, that's how I'm reading this comment. Okay, straight up. The more and more I watch Quinn Hughes play, and this has been the case throughout his career, and we're so lucky that we haven't had enough of this guy because A, he continues to get better, so he still feels new, and B, he's so damn good, and we love the game of hockey that we can't stop appreciating what he's doing because he's such an outlier. But he is somewhat of a midfielder in the game. He is. He creates so much space by himself. He's so sound defensively, though. But the way he just maneuvers in and out around every area of the ice and creates all that space. Look at what he did on that Jake DeBrusk goal, too. Like how he squares up to Jake DeBrusk in like such elegance that this guy could win. This guy could do some damage in figure skating in the Olympics. I'm not even joking. Like he's such an elite skater. And yeah, just having him as a midfielder, for lack of a better word, is outlier-ish. And, Beggsy and I have been talking about this for a long time. But the fact that he's so eager to just hammer shots on net and create chaos and just be the instigator of everything. And I know this sounds crazy because maybe he would do all of this. And we kind of saw this somewhat in the fall of last year too. Maybe he would do all of this without this being the case. But again, with Pettersson not going offensively, the Canucks need that. The Canucks need that type of replacement value from an offensive play driver. And Quinn Hughes, again, the floor of him could deliver that. But right now we're seeing the ceiling. And he's like, you know what? I got to help the boys out. This guy has hit a couple posts, it feels like. This guy's hit a couple butt ends of goalie sticks. He's just missed the net. He should have already had 20 points going into this game, but he's piling up now. And again, he's just taking initiative, man.
Oh, man. Quinn Hughes is the Canucks' best offensive player and their best defensive player right now. I mean, leading the team in points. And defensively, I mean, look, tonight, scoring chances at even strength, 9 for the Canucks, 2 for the Kings when Quinn Hughes is on the ice. High danger chances, 5-0 for the Canucks with Quinn Hughes on the ice. I mean, you're not getting chances when Quinn Hughes is on the ice, man. It's unbelievable. Man, oh man. But you know what? There's a couple of stories I want to get to aside from Quinn Hughes. Okay. I think, Kyle, we should shout out the sponsors here because first and foremost, we're here without the fans. Shout out to you and you tuning into this episode of Locked On Canucks. Also on here without the sponsors. So let's shout them out over at Indeed and Game Time. Man, oh man, if I had a job, I'd be able to afford a shirt, but here I am, shirtless here on Locked On Canucks. If you need a job like me, or if you need to hire, you need Indeed, okay? They are your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data. And they got a matching engine that's almost as fast as Quinn Hughes. So ditch that busy work and use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. And Indeed, they don't just help you hire faster. 93% of employers agree that Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites, according to a recent Indeed survey. Indeed, they got the sauce, okay? They leverage over 140 million qualifications and preferences every day, and their matching engine is constantly learning from your preferences. So the more you use Indeed, the better it gets. Listeners of the show, you'll get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/lockedon. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this very podcast. Indeed.com/lockedon. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Man, oh man. Okay, if you're buying tickets, the only place you got to go is Game Time, okay? And the Canucks, their road trip's now over. And here's the fun fact that I learned tonight. The first time ever that the Canucks have gone on a California road trip against Anaheim, San Jose, and LA and won every single game. That's unbelievable stuff right there. But they're coming back home. And if you want to see Quinn the Show Hughes live, make sure you go get those tickets on Game Time, okay? Because not only are they the place you should get tickets, but they got this new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks, they filter with the fluff and show you only incredible deals on great seats. You don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets, okay? You go to the app, you see all these deals, you go to Game Time Picks, and they pick out the best deals for you, okay? Also on the app, you got the all-in pricing, so no surprise fees at checkout. You got the seat view, so if you're in the toilet, go check out Game Time, and you can feel like you're at Rogers Arena. Again, they got that lowest price guarantee, baby. So make sure you take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Go download that Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download the Game Time today. What time is it? Game time.
People. We back over here at the Burnaby Gardens, okay? Courtesy of the Don't Those Art Lab and Five God and V. And we're here talking about your Vancouver Canucks, who picked up their 7th win of the year. They're now 7-2-3. And this one, for some reason, Trevor, explain to me why it feels like this, but it feels like today was the start of the season. It really does. For me, no, I can't explain it. But I was waiting for this.
Oh, I can explain it. We talked about it on today's show, and hey, go check it out if you haven't already. But I think one of the main things we discussed was scary truths about the Canucks, right? Whereas since the All-Star break of last season, there's some not so favorable numbers about this hockey team. Again, it's not just Elias Pettersson. There's a lot of things about this hockey team that have fans have fans being concerned. And I look at this game tonight, and Kyle, we talked about it. Tonight was their first win in regulation. Where from start to finish, they looked like the better team. And again, for them to beat a good team tonight, look solid throughout. I think that's why it feels like the start of the season tonight to me. Yeah,
and they just beat a decent team, man. It's a beautiful thing, okay? Real talk. Going into Saturday and what's going to happen against the Oilers, it's just really important for this team to do this before they have to go and do that. And that's beat the Oilers on home ice. And again, we've already ramped our ways up the standings. Like, we don't necessarily need wins. Like, we're good. But at the same time, my people in the city are spending hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars when it's $1,000 to rent out a closet or $2,000 to rent out a closet to sleep in and take a shit in. Yo, we're so bad at home ice right now. Win at home ice against the Oilers after losing Game 7 there a couple months ago. Anyways, more comments, okay? Look at this. Okay, this is a funny comment. Kiefer Sherwood, and this comes from SK93, one of the OGs. Kiefer Sherwood definitely has Kiefer Sherwood on his fantasy team. I just want to shout out that Bluger line and that Heinen line. I feel as if I got a glimpse of an impactful line in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and that is something that we didn't necessarily see shift in and shift out, obviously, from the likes of like Lafferty and company and that type of third or fourth line. And I still think there has to be some more identity in whatever Ratu and Sprong and Hoglander or whenever Suter gets there, there's still got to be a little bit of filling up to do in the bottom six, and I think that will happen when the injuries slow down. But those three, specifically speaking, they can play big boy hockey. And a lot of that has to do with Sherwood. A lot of that has to do with Bluger. Heinen is just a perfect complementary piece. Kind of reminds me of Pius Suter. But again, those two guys, Bluger and Sherwood, they were great today again, especially in the last 40 minutes of the game.
Yeah, and Quinn Hughes actually name-checked that line in his post-game presser as well. When he talked about how it was a good team game tonight, but he talked about the third line specifically, almost led the charge, like you said, over the final 40 minutes. And he kind of talked about how they outline the team's identity, right? The team's identity, according to Quinn Hughes, is coming at teams in waves. And that's exactly what that third line does, right? They're so hard to play against. And, again, we talk about Kiefer Sherwood, Reefer Sherwood throwing the body around. Actually, Teddy Gluger as well, though, is really starting to chuck the body too. And those two guys are just physical menaces right now. And we just didn't see that from Bluger, not only in Vancouver, but really throughout his NHL career. Not really a physical guy, but I don't know if it's Teddy Bluger with the flow. He's got the beard now. Maybe he's smoking some Reefer Sherwood with Bob Bluger. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, man. Supposedly the ladies love Teddy Bluger too, man. I'm not talking like in real life. I'm just talking via social media. This guy's just with the flow. That's what happens when you have long hair. And I'm jealous. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm balding. Okay, I'm bald and bad, but maybe my hair grows back quicker if we start beating good teams again. Hey, I wonder how much hair I lost in that Oilers series, straight up, and how much hair I can grow if the Canucks do their business this Saturday. There was a comment earlier about Dakota Joshua coming back, and here's one again from Savvy. Okay, when Joshua comes back, considering Brock Boeser's not out for a long time, who goes out? It's Ratu, of course. You bump Suter down the lineup, right? That's the math here. Like,
I think it could be Daniel Sprong.
Oh, I had a theory on this. Okay, I know we haven't seen a lot of Daniel Sprong as far as game-breaking ability and just him being noticeable, but do you think for a guy like that, where he's always been that guy, it's important for him to be low maintenance right now and kind of like not like screaming out to you? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you think he's been bad defensively?
No, I really don't. It's funny because I just think his opportunity is a bit limited right now. On the power play, you can see him. You can see the speed when he carries the puck. Like, he carries the puck with a ton of speed when he has it. But the puck's not really just bouncing his way right now. And again, I think there's high expectations in the sense that this is a guy that was kind of the fancy stats maestro in terms of the points per 60 and all that. Just so efficient, gets the puck on net a lot. But you look at this Canucks team right now, and it's man, oh man, like, what other wing are you taking off of this team if everyone's healthy? And I think Ratu brought something tonight that a lot of other players didn't bring, in terms of that fact that he wins faceoffs, right? Like Elias Pettersson, Teddy Bluger were not winning faceoffs. It was JT Miller and Ratu. And the fact that Ratu can, play a steady game. Again, I don't think it's a given that he's out of the lineup when Joshua returns. I think it could be Daniel Sprong, but it's probably one of those two guys.
Well, do the math. I mean, we just talked about there still needs to be some identity on the bottom six, and it's such a long season. Like, things are going to change, but theoretically speaking, you can see those three, Heinen, Bluger, and Sherwood, be there forever. And like, what if there is a world where, because of Boeser's apparent injury, like Lecker-Mackey gets called up, right? And then Lecker-Mackey, steals our imagination and maintains a spot in the lineup, and then you have this opportunity to move Joshua down the lineup, and it completes like a Suter, Joshua, etc. Suter, Joshua, Hoglander, Lecker-Mackey, Garland, Pettersson, Boeser, Miller, DeBrusk, and we got on that note, Jake DeBrusk, baby, Jake DeBrusk. I love it. I love the patience. I love the confidence. I know we gave a lot of credit to Quinn Hughes on that goal. But what have you noticed in Jake DeBrusk recently? Again, he did it against bad teams, scored a goal against the Ducks and Sharks, but that was a huge goal he scored in the second against the Kings.
Oh, such a good goal. And like the soft hands on that guy, the patience at the net to make that move. And, look, Jake DeBrusk has this, obviously this reputation as being a streaky player, but this is the first time that he's joined a new team. And I think he's been pretty open about it in multiple interviews now about how, it feels like he feels like a kid again. He feels like a rookie again and all this stuff. And I don't want to say he was bad over the first 9 games. because he's got a high floor. He's not really a risky player. He's a smart guy. He's a good defensive player, but offensively, there just wasn't that mojo there. And it seems to be there right now. And we've seen, 3 different goals from this guy, right? We saw the snipe against San Jose. We saw the tip against Anaheim. We saw the silky mitts by the net in this game. So Jake DeBrusk, much like Brock Boeser, is a guy who can score in multiple ways. And I'm curious if he can keep this up and if he's not just going to be a streaky player, because for those who weren't listening early in the season, I did have my bold prediction that Jake DeBrusk would score more goals than Brock Boeser. If that happens, hopefully it's because both are playing all 82 games.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I don't really see that happening. I'm too high on Brock Boeser. Like, I'm smoking that Brock pack. I hope that he's not out for long. Like, I hope they kept him out of the lineup for more precautionary reasons. Like, maybe, like, again, I don't know. Concussions, head injuries, you never know. But based on like how the Canucks have been handling injuries and like quote unquote rushing players back, and not to connect the whole Dakota Joshua thing to this as well, because they're different, but just we saw it with the whole Demko thing months ago too. It's like, just be patient. You know what I'm saying? And maybe they're going to be extra patient with this one. Let's read this comment too from my Aunt Nancy. Okay, they were so good. They were trying so hard. I mentioned somebody that was trying so hard earlier too, and I want you to touch on him, and then we'll get out of here after one more comment about Pettersson being Barkov. But Filip Hronek, like, I think he learned something from the playoffs last year. And not to say that these guys are like wired to play game 1 to 82 like they're playing in the playoffs, because you're just going to be exhausted. But against big teams like the LA Kings, where it gets a little physical and the intensity just naturally ramps up, it was so pleasant to see Filip Hronek play such a clean game and be such an important player. Like, there's a reason. How much is he getting paid again? What's the math again?
7.25 for the next 8 seasons.
7.25. Okay, so Quinn Hughes takes a penalty after getting rough with that Clark guy. Like, what are you doing, bro? You're not going to take on Quinn Hughes. And then there's like 4 minutes left in the game. I think we're only up by 1 goal. And I'm like, oh, damn, we're not going to have Quinn Hughes on for like 2 minutes. This is going to suck. Like, the Kings are pressing. And I think Filip Hronek played like a 90-second shift. And he looked smooth. He looked nutritious out there. He looked efficient. And he looked rough. No, straight up. He just looked like he could handle it. And that's why we pay him. Like, he stepped up in that moment and was so clean defensively.
Damn, he looked nutritious, man. He's
you know what I'm saying? Like,
he's eating 6 bananas a day, just like Kyle Bowen.
Hey, but again, like, this touch Filip Hronek. Like, again, like, when he has 3 points this year. He's not even paced for 40 points again. But I'm seeing a quote unquote floor or ceiling in him that's a little bit different, and that's just noticing him being so strong defensively the whole time. Like, we give a lot of credit to Quinn Hughes, but Filip Hronek is playing really good hockey right now.
100%. I'm glad he brought it up, because I think he gets overshadowed because of the fact that he plays with the best player in hockey right now with Quinn Hughes. But Filip Hronek's skating is sublime. I think he's really strong in his own zone. And I've been saying this since last spring, even when the points started to dissipate for him. This guy rarely loses a board battle. He almost always finds a way to get the puck out of his own end. To me, the points, you want a baseline there because of what he's getting paid, but it doesn't really matter if he's not getting scored on. And again, I'd be curious to see how he does in his own pair, but right now it's like you fix what's not broken right now, and that pair is, for my money, the best pair in hockey. And that might be something that we should do a bit of more of a deep dive on here on Locked On Canucks, because they've just been so good together. Speaking of good, shout out to Philippion Live. Okay, and I know I saw a couple other comments about this too. PD had a good game. Look, there's quite a few plays in PD tonight that I really liked. Tipping the puck out of midair and almost scoring there on the PK, preventing Kopitar from scoring late in the first period. A couple other sick passes in there too.
He had a big hit.
Big hit. Big reverse hit.
Ooh,
yeah, it was
in the third period.
It was a really solid game from PD tonight. And again, I've said this before and I'll say it again. It sucks that he's struggling right now. It's gone on for quite some time. So I get the fans concerned. Like, I have some concern myself, but at the end of the day, I think we're going to look back at this in a few months and think it was kind of silly all along.
Yeah. No. It was warranted, man. Come on. Like, when you only have like 27 points in like 50,000 plus games, like, people are going to be a little bored and agitated. And like, there's always a floor to Pettersson, whereas defensive game's always going to be good. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But today I feel as if he was he was making like the critical play defensively in the right way all the time. And then you're like, oh yeah, this guy's like Selke nominee like. And then he's laying that reverse hit. And I'm like, yo, see people? You see? Like, Pettersson's not a wimp. He's not soft. And he's playing on tendonitis, man. Trevor would never go to work with tendonitis. I'll tell you that much for free, man. Okay?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see about that. I mean, I was puking at work the other day, but that's another story. But I'm feeling better now, man. Unbelievable stuff, man.
You're the second best dad in the world. That was a bad joke because I've noticed something about Trevor. Trevor always goes to work and he's just always there. Always putting the bacon on the table, man, no matter what. This guy he's not worried about getting other people sick, man. He's got to bring bacon home to the family, man. Come on, man.
And you know why, man? Because I want to be paying for things like, having beers, having viewing parties, or get-togethers with the Peace, man. Aaron Phillips, shout out to my bud from the time since before my balls dropped. We should have a viewing party together and catch a game. Let's go. I'll be down to do it. And what was it? Gigatronic in the comments saying that one of these days we should do a hot tub post-game review stream. Man, oh man, if the Canucks win the Stanley Cup, I'll fix my hot tub and we'll do a hot tub post-game stream, man. Definitely down to do that. But Kyle, what are your closing thoughts on this game before we get out of here?
No, just beat Edmonton. Like you think I'm lying? I was about to swear there. Okay, you think I'm lying? My people, my neighbors. I care about my neighbors. Like I know the Canucks have won a lot of games, and this is not a must-win game on Saturday. But it's the Oilers. People are going to be spending $400 to go to that game. Kids are going to get early Christmas gifts. Okay, early Christmas gifts to go to that game on Saturday. And the Canucks have sucked at home ice. Like, just win at home and do so against the Oilers. And I don't know if you heard this part because you were writing your post-game show, but I said there's a 51% chance that Quinn Hughes shuts down Connor McDavid. Like, that's how good defensively he's playing right now. And I feel as if Quinn is programming his game to get to a point where if they play the Oilers in the second round, Draisaitl and McDavid, they're not going to win games by themselves. Like, they're not going to win more than 2 games by themselves. He's going to stop it at 1 at minimum. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to see them win on Saturday. Those are my closing thoughts. And maybe I sound stupid or dumb and asking for too much, but Saturday feels like a must win.
A must win is a pretty bold take, that's for sure. But I'll say this: if the Canucks stay out of the penalty box against the Oilers on Saturday, they're going to beat the Edmonton Oilers. That's for sure. And that's the hype show that we're bringing here at Locked On Canucks. Speaking of the hype show, man, maybe we'll touch on more about this game on tomorrow's episode. I also want to touch on Jonathan Lecker-Mackey because, man, oh man, that guy is heating up. And we'll also give you some updates on Brock Boeser as we learn about them tomorrow as well. But for now, we got to get out of here. So shout out to everyone who's been listening, whether you're an everyday or first-time listener, an occasional listener, and everyone in between. We appreciate the hell out of you for tuning into Locked On Canucks. Go Canucks, go. Quinn Hughes for the heart. Canucks going to smoke the Oilers on Saturday, and we're going to smoke some what? Time to get out of here. I'm Trevor Banks. That guy's Kyle Bowen, and you've been listening to Locked On Canucks.
Peace. Good night, yo. Take care of your family. One love.